Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founders Grid, sponsored by Caper.io. Today we have Bonnie. Bonnie is the founder and CEO of BroadwayHD. Bonnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, give us a brief background about yourself before founding BroadwayHD, and the motivation behind it. We'll get to that in.
Sure. Well, I'm older, so I have like a really long history of working. So I don't know how far back you want to go, but I'll just go back about 30 years. But yeah, I started off as an entertainment reporter. I have a business degree and a communications TV production degree. And with that, I ended up working in TV and then went into theater. And then, my blending or marrying of theater and TV has always been a goal for me. So that's where Broadway HD was always like in my mind for that. So I produce live stage shows on Broadway, the West End, and I've done tours around the country, and I've also done TV productions of the shows that I do on Broadway and around the world. And that's what Broadway HD is the digital capture, we call it, which is different than a film or a TV show in that it is ideally it's in a theater with a live audience and the live stage show. So you're capturing the show in real time. So it's like a sporting event. So if it's a 2-hour show, it's a 2-hour capture. And then what we did is with Broadway HD is we launched a streaming subscription website which aggregates this type of content into one place. So if you want to watch live stage productions or captured live stage productions, Broadway HD is the destination. So we have over 300 full-length stage plays and musicals. And it operates in the same way that a Netflix does. So we're $100 a year, basically, for on-demand access to all 300 full-length shows.
Wow, sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on mute. But I was going like, wow.
I'm glad it's not just me that does that.
Yeah. So that's amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. So trying to keep the conversation much more relevant to recent times, unfortunate times because of the pandemic, and it has affected multiple industries while it has been a catalyst for the others. So how has it affected your industry? And then let's discuss the mechanisms that have been.
Well, as I mentioned in my background, I really have two separate industries that work together. So it's the live entertainment piece, the live stage piece, and that is decimated at this point. It's just, I had 2 Broadway shows on tour, and one show that was in the Broadway season that had just closed and was on tour, and another show that was opening on March 15th. And the governor shut down all of the Broadway theaters on March 12th. And we thought it was just a temporary, we'll be back in a couple weeks situation. So the first concern was really to get everyone home and safe. And then, it says, oh my God, there's this, deadly virus out there. We've got to make sure all of our employees are safe. And then there were people within the live stage industry in New York City that had tested positive. And so everyone was just fearful. We didn't have testing at that point. I mean, it was just as scary as it can be. And with people working in such close proximity in a show where they're singing and dancing together, they're sharing, dressing rooms. It was terrifying. And so for those first couple of weeks, it was just, is everybody okay? Getting everybody home, is everyone okay? And now 7 months later, realizing that we're another year away from the Broadway arena opening up at the very least, those 41 Broadway theaters in New York City, in Times Square. It's, these people have to be, they're just in waiting. And it's really just devastating. I can't say how scary. I mean, it's a horror movie that we're living in the live stage industry. And we're waiting for government bailouts here, and I don't know that it's going to come. The UK, that is probably the other, one of the largest stage theater capitals in the world, is also having similar problems there. They have a government bailout. There's millions and millions of dollars were assigned to the theater industry, but now it's who gets it and for how long. So their chancellor kind of called people out and said that if it was a job that they weren't going to go back to in 6 months, which looks like they're not so much, maybe they should look for other viable jobs, is what he called them, which then put everybody in the live entertainment industry saying our jobs are not viable. Like what, you're an artist, you always expected life to be a little bit, freelance, gig oriented from one job to the next. But to, sort of hear something like that was kind of, again, like just adding more layering on the pain. So that's the downside of it, which I couldn't have painted a bleaker picture with that. But being the ever optimistic, I really do feel that with the theater down, that it gives the Broadway community and theaters across the world an opportunity for a reset. Yeah. There were things that weren't equitable in the theater industry around the world, and this actually gives everyone a time to say, how do we make this better? When we reopen, how do we make this better? And we will reopen. Yeah. Broadway is not just, an art. Theater is not just something that is an art form, but it really is something that is an economic driver in communities, for culture around the world. It is the hub, these theaters of culture, and really drives the economy in cities that have robust theater communities. So we will be back, but it's going to be a while. So that's really hard, and it's hard to wait. The other side of that is the streaming business. Yeah. So the live stage business is in mothballs for a while, but the streaming side of the business has taken off in a way that we're not alone. Every other streaming business that's out there is doing really well, because what else is there to do? And I think that with a BroadwayHD is, as I described, it's a niche. It is a niche type of content. We're very specific. It's stage plays and musicals, and it is for theater fans and theater wannabe fans, because what we've been doing with BroadwayHD for the past 5 years that we've been in existence is providing access to shows that people would not otherwise get. So if you can't get inside those four walls of those Broadway theaters or the touring Broadway theaters, then we'll bring the theater to you. Cool. So we're providing access to those shows, and it's never been more important than right now. So we have all these over 300, pre-COVID live to tape shows that are available on demand. And we have enough shows in our pipeline because we layer our content. We release new content every single month. So in our pipeline, we have for the next 6 months, and then we're looking to how we create content going forward if the live stage industry is still, on hold.
So last question, I'm sure we could have talked for another half an hour, but my marketing team kind of restricted me to with the times are all right. So last question in regards to, as a founder, you're forced to wear multiple hats, from the content creation towards sales, marketing, take care of the staff, mental health, especially the Zoom fatigue and everything. So what 3 productivity hacks you've adapted after COVID started that has made you to perform and work much more efficient? Especially in New York, it can be challenging.
Well, I think that, the theater industry, the live theater industry, it will never be the same as when it opens. I think, as I said, there's an opportunity for a reset. Things will change in a positive way. Part of what is incorporated into the new live theater industry when we open is going to be streaming. So streaming will be a piece of that for every live stage producing piece as we go forward. The other thing that not just the theater industry, but every industry, I think people realize now, the work from home can be really productive. I'm of an age where, I literally, one of my first jobs, I punched a clock. It was a little cardboard thing, and you like, and it would punch the thing of the time that you went in, so I punched a time clock was my thing, and you get docked if you're not, within the 3 minutes of when you were supposed to be at work and when you were leaving. So, and we were, taught, it was a mindset that you had to be sitting at that desk at the time, 9 to 5. Otherwise, well, what if you're not being supervised, if you're not sitting there at your desk, you must not be, being productive. And I think that's something that really took me by surprise. I did not, I have a streaming business, as I said, and we went home overnight, and there was no notice of any glitch in my business. Everyone was able to, they left work not knowing that they weren't coming back the next day, and they were able to work remotely just the next morning at 9 a.m. From their homes. It was amazing. And I think that realization that people can work from home and be productive, if not more productive, is something that will, as I said, it's not just the theater industry, everybody will realize that you can really be so productive from home. And I think that that freelance or outsourcing of people is also something that every industry is looking at and saying, I don't have to have an office. Let's start with that. I don't have to have all these people on staff. I can hire as needed. And I think that, that is something that we'll all take going forward, that we've learned. And, just the work from home thing is kind of amazing, all the ways that it saves you time and travel, but there's also all the things that you then had to get used to, the Zoom calls, the technology around being, communicating with people through your computer. I would just walk to my, the next office and find somebody. And, now I'm doing, these Zoom conferences to talk to people. So it's, it's amazing. And I think that, again, it's all, being optimistic. There's so much good that's coming out of it.
Sure. Bonnie, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sorry we've hit the clock, but I really enjoyed the conversation with you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Take care of yourself and all the best with BroadwayHD, and hopefully the Broadway industry will be back to normal. We'll have a vaccine soon. Optimism is something we can't get off it. That's the New York spirit, right? Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.